All right, what's up, guys? Hope everyone is doing well. I'm here with Tim. You cannot hear Tim right now. We're experiencing some technical difficulties at my side of things where the audio is not, well, for some reason, the streaming software is not capturing both audio. So you will hear Tim in a bit when I'm going to hand it over to him. You know the deal. I'm going to do some high overview statistics, and then I'm going to hand it over to Tim, the man, the myth, the legend, who's going to do his TA. I would let him say hi, but right now, well, actually, I think I can manage to let Tim say hi in a bit. Okay, Tim, if you would be
Good afternoon, everybody. Good to have you here, and welcome to the stream. Thank you all, Sergio, for being here.
all right. So let's dive into things. You know the drill. I'm gonna dive into statistics. Tim's gonna dive into TA. So I see we're just having a little bit of a pump Rooney, so let's not waste any time here, and let's dive into what is happening right now. So I mean, we have a P1 at hour zero. Pretty nice. Looks like a very good pivot so far for the day. If you just look at PA perspective, although we have this small little range going on right there, but I'm going to leave that stuff for Tim. What I want to do right now is, or wait, let me actually check one more thing before I dive into statistics. Yeah, so we do have these fair value gaps on top of here, right, which are, as we know now, magnets. But dive into that maybe a little bit more later. So if I look at the multi-time frame page, oh, wait, first, all right, Tim sounds very low. I'll fix that in a bit. I'll fix that in a bit. What's up, Yelena? Perfect time for the live stream. Good. Yeah. Thank you. Have to thank Tim for that. It was his idea to do it at this time. Ekru, what's up, brother? Azza, what's up, man? Duck out. Good to see you guys. All right. So I'll crank up Tim's sound in a bit. Yeah. It's not recording the way it would normally record, unfortunately, but I will crank up. All right. So first, what I see is a lot of exhausted bears here. And I see some bull signs. I have it on conservative at the moment. I do think if I look at Bitcoin right now, that the question is obviously, are we going to go lower or are we going to go higher for the week? Because we have that P2 on Thursday, and we know that P2s on Thursdays are not a very likely scenario. So if I would go to the weekly, to the time-based statistics, and I look at right here, to see how often or how long ago it has been that Bitcoin has put in the P2 on Thursday. If this thing wants to load, that it's been 7 weeks. So it's definitely not the most probable pivot, right? It most often happens Friday, Sunday. Well, not on Saturday, especially not lately. But the question I want to ask myself is, I see all these exhausted bear signs. That the one thing I want to do is I want to go to, well, let me just go to the summary page really to check that. And I'm mostly interested in Bitcoin right now. So let me remove the filters. Look at the big ones, say BTC, and let me look at the entire market actually. Why not? So what I want to see is like how exhausted are these moves, right? So we have like a lot of exhausted bears on the weekly. So what I want to look at is, okay, how likely is it that we're gonna go lower? So P2, yes, it's a low probability pivots on Thursday for most of them, but at the same time, you got to realize that, okay, but we're already, on Thursday, by Wednesday or by Thursday, we were already at pretty low levels for weeks with more distance. So we see 20%, between 20 and 40%, looks like it. But I'm really interested in seeing where Bitcoin is in this list. So where is Bitcoin and Ethereum? 6.9. So Bitcoin, not so much. Bitcoin could actually go lower. In terms of statistics, it would not be that weird. It would be weirder to take out the weekly high this week. And it's not very unthinkable that, so this shows that mostly the alts have been bleeding, which is funny because I've seen, it's just a continuing joke where you see a lot of influencers who keep on saying that the altcoin bottom is in for, every week for the last 3 months, but yet they keep bleeding. So Bitcoin has been holding strong, but at least that tells us that, for Bitcoin, it would not be weird. 66% of weeks would actually go lower than this, and it would be a wild move to do this, right? That happens one every 10 weeks or so. So lower for the week does not seem unlikely in terms of statistics. So that's the thing I want to look. If this would have been like 30% or something, then yes, we have a P2 on Thursday, but we also don't have a lot more room to go. So I would be more hesitant with it. One of the things I'd personally be looking at is to tap into a fair value gap and go back down. But once again, I'll leave that to Tim. So that's the weekly. Doesn't look bad for the downside. But today, so far, we're having quite a good move to the upside, I would say. We did take some liquidity here at the top, so a reversal there is not unthinkable. Once again, I'm going to leave that for Tim. The thing I want to look at is, yeah. So if we're at a range, and my main thing that I want to look at is Bitcoin, because if Bitcoin goes down, the alts will follow, especially with the weakness they have been showing. So if I look here and I see we're a little bit at a range high, then this actually does look like a really nice pivot, but I would rather be more conservative, which is why I would select conservative filtering. In this environment, it's just a little bit more choppy these days as well. Also with the news that we had, not really a naked daily point of control yet. It is up here, so that's something to keep in mind. But if you look at it, we do have some bullish signs on the daily. So let me dive into this here. But the first warning I want to give out right now, okay, even there is some bullish signs on alts, but I see Bitcoin here at the highs, taking liquidity at the local range low. Do I really? If Bitcoin falls, the rest will fall as well, right? So that's something to keep in mind. With that said, if I look at conservative and look here, then there is actually quite some really good setups, but the problem is that there's no retracements. But for example, I mean, INJ, I know is one of the better ones to trade, and this is on conservative, by the way. So if you look at a hybrid, then yeah, so INJ looks pretty good on a. It's not that correlated with Bitcoin. It looks a lot different. We hit that naked daily point of control right here. That's why I have this indicator on, right? This PVP indicator. So immediately see we hit this naked daily point of control. This is something you don't want, something you do not want to see when you go into a P2. But on a P1, it's obviously something you do want to see, right? We made that low now there. So this one's looking pretty good. And there's actually a lot of assets quite like it. But the only problem is that at the moment we don't have a retrace. But maybe Tim can find the retrace. So what I'm going to do now, for now, I'm going to stick with INJ. I do think it looks nice. So once again, I want to repeat. If you look at this one compared to Bitcoin, it looks a lot different than Bitcoin in terms of PA, right? Bitcoin is quite stuck here at the moment, whereas INJ has shown, of course, it's going down as well in big term, but it's not been showing that extreme compression that Bitcoin is doing, and this is something you want to see, as we have often discussed. So the only thing also here is that the question becomes, okay, are we hitting liquidity points? And I do think we are, so I'm going to leave that to Tim as well. But if I look at this, I see some local downtrend and I see a liquidity point being taken out here. So that coincides with Bitcoin taking liquidity at the moment. So those are things I would be cautious about. But for now, what I see is Bitcoin's ranging, doesn't have really any bias for the day. I think, let me actually check what Bitcoin is saying for the day. I have to be honest, I didn't check that. Let me check what Bitcoin's saying. Yeah, 30% on conservative. If you would look at hybrid, then what would it say? 19%. So one out of 5 days, price would now take out the daily low, which is not that much. But then again, we are at the top of that range. So if any time, I think now would be a good time. But the conclusion is that there is the weekly is indicating that lower is likely for Bitcoin, and this is one of the reasons why, or at least more likely than higher. Right, taking out the high is quite unlikely. 1 out of 10 weeks that would happen. Obviously, we only have 3 more days: Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So lower makes more sense than higher for the week. which is why, and well, besides that, Bitcoin is at the range high, which we just pointed out. So for me, that would make me more hesitant to say, okay, I'm going to act on bullish daily signals because Bitcoin looks primed to go lower for the week, at least from a statistical point of view. Since there's only 3 days and Saturday is not really a good day to do anything, you would argue that, well, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen either today or on Sunday. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hand it over to Tim. I'm going to ask Tim to do some TA on Bitcoin, see if he comes to a similar conclusion as me. Maybe you see something entirely else, completely possible. And then check Engine Coin, who is primed for, statistically for higher. But once again, I would like to ask Tim as well, do you see the same warning signs that I'm seeing as, that lower does not seem, or at least that if Bitcoin is going lower, then Engine Coin might go lower as well. But, I actually see now that Bitcoin also has this naked daily point of control right here. And that's actually pretty, that's obviously good support. But without further ado, I've been talking long enough. Tim, I want to hand it over to you. Wait 1 second, because I'm going to have to put your sound on. Guys, you're gonna lose my sound, unfortunately. So, Tim, I'm going to hand it over to you, and you can talk from right now.
Okay. Um, so you have to do it now with my voice. Yeah, thank you for pointing this statistics out. I like the ideas, what you're telling and what also the statistics are showing, and it's quite in alignment with my TA. So for today, it looks like a good pivot. It was also NFP news today. And yeah, we had already such a strong upwards movement that coming into a long position is very hard to do right now. And also based on the weekly statistics, which is showing us we have more probabilities to go lower this week. And for sure, we will not take that weekly pivot high. I agree also totally with that. So what I'm looking at right now, I will show you that in my TA. Then we can combine some things. First of all, I will start off with Bitcoin, the higher time frame, and then we dive into lower time frame, and then I go over also to ING. I like that coin also to trade. So first of all, start off with Bitcoin on the daily chart, and this is what I've shown you earlier on. We are in a weekly uptrend right there. We have our market structure weekly low here at 38.5, market structure weekly high at 74K, the all-time high. Since then, we are putting back already more than 200 days. And we created this is a weekly range, by the way, a Model 1, a Wyckoff Model 1, turning over into Wyckoff Model 2. So I'm quite convinced, you never know, of course, that the bottom is in for Bitcoin. But that is some other things to discuss. For now, I want to look at, okay, what is the current price action saying? So let's dive in first of this pivot high of last week, where we took out this liquidity on 65K, and we came into a kind of I will show you that an order block, a supply order block on the 6 hour and 8 hour, I think it was. Yes, 6 hour, 8 hour, and there we rejected from. And from Sunday evening, Monday, we created that pivot high of this week, and we dumped down also because of the news, which was really bad in the Middle East, but also TI wise. Yeah, some the levels are not there for they are there for a reason. So I believe only news speed up the process, and that is what it's done. And you can see also where Sergio is now building on of statistics based on fair value gaps. We left some two candles with inefficiency. The first one is a bigger one, and I don't see it coming straight away there. But that second one, that is quite significant, and we could see that perhaps today. That is at 62 point, starting point is at, let me check, 62.4. That is also top of my range on the lower time frame. I will show you that in a minute. But what's also quite important to see is that this zone is the last sell to buy zone, so a daily demand zone where we push here up, then we get a sell to buy model. So this zone is really, it's important to hold for Bitcoin. If we lose that, we will go lower, and then we go perhaps to the range lows. So that is my point of view on the daily. So what I could expect for a top a little bit is around the 62.4 till 64.8. I have also my alerts there, and I will dive in a lower time frame a little bit. What I have marked out anymore. So here we have that supply level. That is also the daily fair value gap. It's also an order block on the 8-hour, 6-hour. It's also on the 4-hour, our market structure. So we are trending down right now from the top. I will draw it. Right, this is our current market structure on the 4-hour. I will make it black. So this is our main structure to break, to get back bullish again, to come towards that 70K level. So that one needs to break. In the meantime, we are trending down, but we find some support here at this demand zone. This is also a 8-hour order block in that bigger daily demand, right? So we can zoom in a little bit. And what we have done yesterday, we created a smaller time frame range, a 2-hour time frame, where price came into on Wednesday. I was waiting for this for a long time, but yesterday the price was really, really chopping, and was on a lower time frame, almost hard to trade, almost not to trade. But I was getting into an entry first, and then I get stopped out at break even, and then I get another entry. But here we have a range, right? We are getting a bounce from here. We're getting two consecutive candles, two or more consecutive candles trading higher, two consecutive candles trading lower, then with two going higher into that range high. This is also the point where the daily fair value gap starts. The bearish daily fair value gap started. So that is this point, right? That is this point right there. And we take that low once again. So we have our first deviation. So we have our tab 1, we have our tab 2, first deviation. We came back up, more than two consecutive candles trading higher, more than two consecutive candles trading lower. So this is a kind of market structure. And we get tab number 3. That is the second deviation for a Wyckoff model 1. And accumulation to the range high. So that is also my plan a little bit. I'm already currently into a position. This is my position. Let me check. Where do I have it? What did I? Where is my long? Oh, right here. So this is my current position. I was entering here. I was first into a long position right there. I leave my stop open, then I get then I'm getting out of the trade at break even, and then I entered once again at 60.4. So we have just above the pivot low of today, so the P1 at hourly 0, we have a slightly demand zone. We are building up also on the lower time frame, so liquidity. But if we come back below this liquidity, I don't know if this demand will hold, right? So what I'm a little bit aiming for on the lower time frame is that we climb up from here and take out that range high. That is also the target of the Wyckoff. Then we are tapping also a daily fair value gap. We have a slightly here liquidity. So we will fill completely that small daily fair value gap. We coming to supply. This is also our 4-hour structure high. So, and then here from here, looking to short, back down again. And then I think this could be a hard play. If this will happen, right, then Yeah, this demand zone is mitigated. The Wyckoff accumulation is done because the range high is will be tapped. And then if we get this kind of a structure, yeah, then the next target will be 57K. And there I'm yeah, I'm quite interested in a swing long position or for spot backs or something like this. Something like that. We have bad lows right there resting. I was waiting already of it during that rate cut meeting 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I think it was already 2.5 weeks ago. But we didn't tap into that demand zone and we pushed higher. So that is still left behind. And yeah, the ultimate level is here 53K, but I don't hope to see it. So these are the levels I'm watching. And so for today, at this moment for Bitcoin, I think it's hard to trade right here for a long to take out right now the pivot P2 because it's such a small push up. And also you are longing into this range at premium pricing. So you don't want to long it. Then you want to take out this liquidity and want to look for any strength in that demand zone. So for me, there is no trading opportunity on Bitcoin right now, but this is the overall idea I have. My thought process for Bitcoin at the moment. And I don't know if there is any question about that. Perhaps you can check that for me, Sergio, and then I can proceed with ING. Okay, then interrupt me, please. Okay, ING. Let's talk about ING. It's kind of looking similar. I have here the daily chart, right? ING took out this liquidity right there. That's a good sign. That was also on the drop on 5 August. It looked kind of similar to Bitcoin. We do have at these, yeah, just below the 10, ultimate demand zone resting, but that is far away. Then we need to crash really hard. So I don't want to look at it right now. And we have built this also this Wyckoff, but this is a model 2, where eventually this will be the target at $28. But we reject here from this supply on the 18-hour. It was on the 18-hour, and we came back also the same as for Bitcoin into demand. This is a demand zone on multiple time frames, and we came back of it. I didn't long it because there was no clear range. But also on this coin, the trend is down. But we have, this is not a really clear structure as for Bitcoin it is. So we could see a pump if we can reclaim this towards this major supply. We have a supply chain here above. So here we have supply, we reject from it, and then we can create a supply chain if we can come back here. But that is far away for now. What we are looking at for today, let's see what we have. Let me check on the lower time frame. On the lower time frame, we do have some kind of a supply right there where we are now into. This is also the last push to the lows. We see now the first deviation of the range high right there. This is the second deviation. So yeah, I should not long it also right here. And that's a little bit the problem because the daily bias is also on statistics are showing bullish signs. Yeah, but this is not the time to enter a long. And yeah, to enter a short, you need to have more confirmation. Of course, you are into a supply zone right now. And if I look on the lower time frame, yeah, what do I see a little bit if I go over to the structure from this top? Then we have this kind of structure right there. So we need to break 19.6 to get bearish back again to pull this pivot P2 on Thursday. So yeah, it's a little bit waiting time for taking a trade. And that is also what Sergio is also already mentioning. And it's hard to take a long position right now. New York just opened. We could swap again that high of the NFP news. Let me check on the lower time frame for Bitcoin. It's still trending upright. This is only taking out some liquidity, so that's a good sign for BTC. Yeah, we have still some liquidity. I will delete my position one moment. So yeah, definitely no taking along right here. Same counts for ING. Made already now a new pivot. Let me see if there is some higher probability zone. No, there is not really significant imbalance here. If ING flip this supply, then we will push back much higher. Depending also a little bit about Bitcoin. If we push Bitcoin to, let's say, 62.4, yeah, 62.4, 62.8, the rest will follow. Bitcoin is leading the crypto market at this moment. And if Bitcoin drops, the alts will drop much harder. That is also what this Bitcoin dominance is saying, right? So yeah, currently I cannot find any setup, but I shared my thoughts, and I don't know if you're looking the same or looking other than me. Let me know then. But for now, I think it's better to look after confirmation for a short opportunity to take a new weekly low, and then longing into premium pricing right now because we are into a range of Bitcoin into a 2 hourly valid range into premium pricing. So yeah, that is what I'm seeing right now.
All right, guys. Sorry about that. Actually, accidentally muted the sound. But the thing is that what I wanted to quickly jump in and say is that, okay, so Tim now just pretty much concluded that, things are looking bearish, which is the same as we concluded at the start with the bearish statistics and all. So if things are looking bearish, it makes sense to, or at least, if things are looking at resistance, it's better to look for shorts. So for example, what I then found is AXL USDT, which is why Tim is now looking at it. So if you have, why is the thing not working? AXL USDT, it's bearish, right? So actually pretty good stats as well, 16.9% on a hybrid, I must say, but still not bad at all. So 16.9% for taking out the high, right? So that's pretty low because we're bearish. Not only that, look at this, right? We have right now P2 at hour 11, and it's been 221 days since the current P2 have become P1, which means that, current P2 is currently put in at hour 11, which is the daily low. And for that to become P1, well, that has been 221 days. So it's not happening a lot at all. And therefore, it's also 74.5% of days see more distance. So this one is actually looking pretty neat for a short setup. So this is, if you're kind of TA, your main TA is saying like, well, it looks a little bit more bearish, then, this is an easy way. So what I did is just filtered on day since P1, then AXL came out. So what I'm doing now is handing it over to Tim so that Tim can apply his TA on it and see if we can find a short setup, because it looks like the more reasonable approach right now. All right, so Tim, I'm going to hand it over back to you within right now.
Okay. So let's take a look at the higher time frame range of this coin. We are into this bigger range, and where we have a range low, a range high, deviation 1, and we pushed back higher last week, and we created a nice little supply zone where we reject from yesterday. We put in weekly P2 on Tuesday, so that's different than the most of the other coins. And then we have for today, we have our pivot at hourly 0 also here, and right now we can look, of course, for I think a new weekly low. But okay, we can start with the scalp. And what's on the lower time frame the best zone to look at, and that is right here at this auto block on the 15. There we have an auto block, and we have also right here at this high a liquidity wick. And let me define it a little bit to have a better entry probability. So yeah, we will take out this high that causes the daily low, right? So people that are shorting, they will have their stops right there, and they will get stopped out. So that is a great idea. So what my idea is to put in a limit at let me do it correctly, at 0.6385, and then stop loss above the daily high. Target will be, of course, new low, but if you look to the return to zone, I think we could see lower prices. So I will target a new weekly low. But if we are in and we're making a new low, you can take some profits, and then we can continue to look, okay, how does it look? And how is also Bitcoin, of course, doing it? And then I can take a second limit entry, and that is at that liquidity point, right? So you can have a better risk to reward. So don't know if we get filled, of course. So the stop loss will be the same. Target will be the same. So that will be So this will be the play. I will make it clearly two limit entries. Entry one, 0.6385. Entry two, 0.64. Do I correctly? 6490. Top loss for both will be 6590. Targets 0.670. And then leave person runner. So that will be my ID. Is this all clear? Let me know.
No questions yet.
Okay, I will share this ID in the Discord, right? We are almost there already, so if you want to join, then you need to be quick from the stream. Okay. So yeah, I will set the limit. Let's try it. Looks good. Also based on statistics, but also based on TA. It's acting a little bit different than the rest of the coin. So good to see that you saw it. So we could see a final push towards that entry, and if we don't get an entry, yeah, then it's fine. Then we don't have an entry. So
Yeah, because it looks really good for the downside. Yeah, I'm just looking at yeah. Other than that, I don't see good assets for bearish plays.
if it doesn't look good, then we don't need to do it,
Nope, that's simple.
right?
But I mean, if our weekly bias is down, and it makes a lot of sense to look at resistances above us for any asset really and see what that's going to do. I mean, maybe you have another favorite asset because it does look. I mean, some of the assets. Let me see some weekly assets start trending down. And by the way, they should be able to hear me again on the stream as well.
Okay.
That are trending down. I still have some way to go. So what I'm doing now is I'm just gonna check if there's. Let me actually do that here so everyone can see except for you, Tim. Well, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go for the weekly. I'm gonna look at all the assets. Then I'm gonna look for whichever ones still have some distance to go. So I'm just gonna do more than 55% and has a P2 on Thursday, preferably. Yeah, there's actually still quite some assets. So let me just nitty pick one. Which one looks good? Which one looks good? Tim, I'm gonna let you choose. Maybe you like one of these assets. Wait, I'm gonna share my screen and then you'll be able to see me.
Yeah, I see your screen.
Oh, you see it?
Yeah, I see it.
Here's your list. So these are weeks. So we know we're bearish. So these are all weeks that still didn't have quite as much displacement as you would normally. I would personally not go for something like this STX that's around 50% and an 875 retracement. That's too. It's you need one little wick to stop that out. So I wouldn't go for that. But it is obviously interesting to look at if the general bias would be bearish, which in this case it is. Then any of these could see, as a higher potential further displacement. So one of the ones, I mean, RSR, I guess, looks pretty good because this one's really low and this one is really, not really high, but pretty good. So I would either go for this one or for this one or this one. So you can choose between RSR USDT, compound USDT, or pull USDT. And the aim here is a new weekly lows.
Okay.
Which one do you want to do?
I think
Maybe
If you look,
someone in the chat has a preference.
yeah, if you look to the retracement, then the most interesting one is comp.
Yeah, all right, get into it. Let's do it.
Can people hear me or not?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, I fixed it.
okay. So let's see for the weekly.
Jeez. Man, what like is zooming back out? Holy. What do you
It's
think? Is that a dead coin or a massive accumulation?
yeah, it could be the last, but yeah, we did grab some. Mm, 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 mm. If we look here on the weekly, uh, it's but then the target will be here. So tab 1, tab 2, tab 3. Sorry, tab 1, tab 2, tab 3. Price came into my supply right there, but that is just higher time frame. Come on, analysis.
Nice.
Um, but we take out some liquidity right there.
But
You can
this to
see,
me, if I look at this, I would almost immediately discard it. It looks so choppy.
yeah, for sure. But this is the weekly, right?
Yeah, but even still, because like you can just see that the weekly candles of late of the last 2 weeks
Yeah,
have done
compressing.
almost nothing.
Yeah, it's compressing. So we took out this one, so this could be also potential. Oh, I don't think it's worth to give it a try. I don't know for sure.
Yeah, that's what I would say. I like doesn't look good to me.
No.
Like for me, one of the first things I do is if I want to take a trade on the weekly, I go to the weekly time frame. So what you just had, and if I see it as compressed as that on the weekly time frame, then that's an immediate disqualifier for me personally.
Yeah, yeah, for me also. And if you look at, let's say the 1 hourly, the 1 hourly range, we have significant imbalances right there. So we could also easy pump from here. Now it's not interesting. And what we do have also is that with this wick is what, yeah, the trade already played out, but this is also a Wyckoff on the 1 hour. Where the target is this, that is that is already tapped. But we take out also with that low extreme liquidity. So I don't know if we get a new low.
What about
I don't.
RSR USDT? But this is good practice, right? Because for everyone watching, this is like a very simple process you go through to qualify, disqualify a coin. This already looks a little bit more volatile than the other. Like comp really was really, really compressed.
Yeah, true. Um, Let me check.
So let me check what the stats were on that thing. RSR. I don't even know what it is.
Me neither. Um,
65.7% of weeks go lower.
mhm.
Has been 10 weeks since Thursday was P2. You see.
um,
So 65% is okay, but not great. So I would, in this case, I would like to see good confluence with TA. And if it's not there, I wouldn't take it.
so far I see it's not here. It's also on the mid time frame for hourly, 2 hourly. You can see this kind of a choppy price action. where price came into daily demand. Here we took some liquidity. I don't know for sure. I should not take it also now. It's not convincing to me. If price was here, right? And if price was here in this zone and we see a rejection on a lower time frame, then I was more convinced. But we are not there. So we are not there. That was also done. Check if I can find something on a lower time frame, but I doubt it a little bit. No, that other one, what we have done is the best one, I think.
AXL.
AXL. Yeah,
Yeah.
AXL is the best one so far. Yeah, okay, we built up some liquidity. I can see here. Of course, this is building up some liquidity. Not really good market structure. But this high is also not very. No, I know I should skip it. Sorry.
No, no need to be sorry. It's also an answer.
Yeah,
It's better to skip it than
I think in my opinion, um, AXL is interesting, and ING perhaps for a short. Let's see if price will push back up once again for one time and fill our limit. Um, if we do get a break below the 61 cents, so if we do break this, so this one, this is the Thursday low. I will mark an alert. Then I think I skip the limit because we can get a V-shaped recovery or a fast move down, one of the two. So let's hope we get an entry in this a little bit of a sideways movement and get a tap into this region. So this is the yeah, you have a little bit more confidence in.
yeah, it looks better. Yeah, and sometimes also the answer is that there's not every day as many good setups as other days. But I do like. I mean, maybe good to recap the decision to not look for longs was because a lot of assets are at range highs or resistances.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't make a lot of sense to enter longs there anyway. So then the only reasonable thing to do is look for shorts, which is
Yes.
how we found AXL. But maybe you can take them through a little bit, like a small recap of Bitcoin, where it is. Because Bitcoin
Yeah.
is in the end the most important, right?
Yeah, correct. So the reason why um, I don't want to long this price action at the moment is because we are into premium pricing of this range. And yes, we did bounce off of this demand zone. So yeah, we could see a fill to this daily fair value gap that is also top of the range. So here's the start of the fair value gap at 62.4, and 62.8 is also the end of that fair value gap that is left behind yesterday, or no, sorry, 2 days ago, I think it was. It was on Wednesday. So in that case, if you are at premium pricing, the context is simple for me. We have to buy low and sell high. So if price was dropping first, take out this liquidity and coming into this demand, then it was interesting to take a long. And now I don't want to take a long. So that is the context behind it. So
Looks also like a lot of liquidity being built up there at locally.
yeah, correct.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah, agreed. So we have built up some liquidity. And yeah, perhaps if you come into that demand, you can watch for a break of structure on a lower time frame. I have set an alert there. So yeah, just in case it comes there, then then I can look for a possible entry. I have set alerts at the range high, and I'm hoping for a better place to look for a short opportunity to put in a new pivot P2 at the weekly.
Yeah. Oh, and also one more good thing to mention is obviously that it all started with that the weekly time frame is pointing moderately down for Bitcoin. That
Yeah,
it's statistically a little bit more likely to take out the low than not to take it out. So another reason not to be very aggressive on shorts or longs. Sorry, on longs.
mm, yeah,
And once again, sometimes also the age-old
still
saying, not taking a trade is also a trade,
exactly.
right?
Okay, that was for me my point of view, Sergio. I also need to finish because I need to go.
Yeah, awesome, man. No, we're at the hour. I think it's the hour is a magical mark.
Yeah, man.
So it was a great one, man. Thank you so much. Let's see if AXL plays out.
Let's wait and see. I've set the limit, so yeah, I will try to manage if you get in, and then we will see you later on.
So far, it seems like it's rejecting from the daily point and control. Just looking at it,
Okay, okay.
but
Yeah, but I will not jump in FOMO. Then no entry.
I'm gonna FOMO. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Now we're good. All right,
Okay, man.
guys. Thank you so much for watching. Let's see if we got AXL. The conclusion of the stream was that lower prices are more likely for the week than higher prices. So, therefore, we found AXL as a short. Let's see if we get it.
Okay,
All right, everyone. Tim, thank you so much, man. Thank you, everyone, for watching.
you're welcome to you also. Thanks.
See you on the next stream next week, guys.
Till next week. Bye bye.
All right, cheers, guys.